but
how many 14ers are there?
There's 50 some of them, and it kind of depends
Buckeye
on.
Peak. Where is this?
It depends a little bit on your definition of what it is, what a 14er is, because depending on the saddle, the distance between two peaks. So, like,
is there going to be snow up here?
There might be small patches on off sides,
like
depending on
snow.
time of year. Okay. So there is debate actually about how many 14ers there are, you know, which is kind of funny.
That is kind of funny.
And so, I mean, there's like some say 53, others. I'm trying to look like what like Gary Roach had, because he's kind of the
Buckeye Peak.
Got to be.
There's Buckeye Lake.
Tier. Yeah.
Yeah, there's snow whenever they took this picture.
Yeah, it says Buckeye Peak's 12,867.
Ooh, that's not even close. I like this whole, so that, like, I know nothing about like peak bagging culture. It's like its own thing. It's its own thing, you know?
And in like anything else, like it gets
hated.
It gets, it absolutely should be hated to some degree.
Here's a game changer.
What?
You can fly from Denver to Durango.
I saw that. I know you can.
You can fly.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah. But then you don't have a car.
That's true.
And so
you just need a train.
The cool thing about the Chicago Basin is you don't need a car.
Going to be just ferrying us through.
I know, right? I mean, the cool thing about the Chicago Basin is you can absolutely fly to Denver or to Durango, and then you get on the train in Durango and take the train up to Chicago Basin. So you don't need a car to get down there.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But then, honestly, like the time it takes to drive to Denver in Denver traffic and sort through security at DIA and fly to Durango, you can almost just drive there too.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
58 14ers, according to Rocky Top Wrangler.
And there are 53, according to 14ers.com.
Ooh, they're so contentious.
So this is what I'm saying. So because
I feel like the definition should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Is it above 14,000 feet?
Well, but the point is this, like if you have a 14,000 foot peak and then there's a saddle that drops 200 feet and then it comes back up 200 feet to another peak.
Yeah.
Are those two separate mountains or is that one mountain?
No, it's two separate ones.
And so some people would often say, what is that? What is your line? You know, because if it's 10 feet, then it's one mountain. If it's 20 feet, if it's 200 feet, so where do you draw that line?
Is that the demarcation, the dip, or not the distance between the two?
It's a little bit of its prominence. It's the mass of the mountain itself. So different people define those things in different ways. So there is debate on exactly how many there are. And so some people, like when you get into peak bagging, it gets really much like through hiking, much like anything. Like people that get really in these wormholes, it becomes awkward, right? Because some people will try to make the claim that you have to have a minimum ascent and descent. So for example, there's 4 Colorado peaks: Lincoln, Cameron, Democrat, and Bras. They're all in like one big circular trail. You can hike and go across the summits of all 4 of them in a pretty small distance of time. And some people would make the argument that you would have to technically climb one, descend.
I see.
Climb the next one, descend.
He's like the purist.
Climb the next one, descend to count as if you've climbed all of them.
Okay.
As opposed to just hiking across all of them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So whatever. It's like, what is your climb? What is your trail? You know, you define your own parameters. And I don't know. You know, that's why Winston's like, oh, how many are there? Well, there's 58. There's 53. Sure.
I see what you mean.
What are your parameters? How do you define those peaks, those prominences, the saddles, the dips? Like that North Eolus and Eolus that we were talking about. You know, like is that 2 or is that 1? Who knows? You know. I don't know.
So Ron Reed said there are 58 14ers named on the USGS.
So he's
maps.
going by the USGS.
Well, exactly. But then some of those aren't considered because the saddles are too small. So it's one peak or one massive, you know.
Here's an interesting comment too. Greg Morton says you need to have at least 300 feet of elevation gain for it to be a 14 peak.
And that's a common thing in terms of the saddles between them.
Yeah.
But again, people have debated that too.
Right,
so that is commonly an accepted term. Whatever.
Hey, if we're standing on the top of something that's 14,000 feet.
I think I feel like it's like, is it above 14,000 feet? Okay. Then why is it called a 14er if it's not? But then you bring up some good points about if there are 2 points 10 feet away from each other, should those be 2 14ers? Yeah, I get it.
And again, like the saddle, if it's 299 feet versus 300 feet.
Just put some rocks on it.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
build a cairn.
Who knows, you know.
I love it. Okay. Let's wrap this up.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, everybody needs to go over to the